I'm a late-minute replacement, so I'm glad to look at the future. You're looking at the past, but I'll add to what Bill did, told you about on the Clara Peller spot, which is Where's the News? ABC had the Olympics that year. I was a VP in promotion at NBC. And I had this is how the difference. Usually, and then I'll tell you about my career path. I was in advertising in the beginning, and I have an idea. What is today, January 9th? And I wouldn't see it. I could write it today, and all the levels at these big agencies where I worked, it would take 6-7 months with 3 levels at Leo Burnett, 3 levels at Procter & Gamble before your ad got on TV. And it's different now, and it would be watered down. You'd have what you thought was a great idea, and they would end up, and you'd recognize, I wrote those 2 words, and it wasn't fun. So I got this, and I'll tell you how I got into TV. Through advertising. But this thing came about because I had an idea at 4 o'clock in the afternoon in LA, because ABC had the Olympics and they pushed the news in Chicago till 11 o'clock. So Clara Peller was the hottest thing in advertising, and she was from here. I called Bill. I knew Bill because I'm from Chicago. I was working in LA. Bill was from Chicago. So when we come to affiliate meetings, Bill and I would talk Chicago, and Bill's a great guy. So I called Bill up, and I got a hold of the agent for Clara Peller and one of the other ladies in this commercial. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I write the spot. I say, Bill, I got to do this tomorrow because we have an affiliate meeting, and we have to show them how the affiliates can tie in. And I wrote this thing called Where's the News? I wrote a few spots, like literally at 4 o'clock. So I called Bill. It's 3 o'clock here. He says, I know a guy. He told me about the apartment. I flew overnight. My mom, was alive then, and I went to her place at like 6 in the morning, laid down for literally 20 minutes. Bill met me at 7. We went to Walgreens, got some cards. I picked up this lady and her friend. We shot at that place. I went to NBC at night after the news to shoot Max Robinson, and that was an example how you could put your anchor in the spot. We would give it to him in green screen. And then I flew back to LA at 9 o'clock, got in at 11. They held the lab open that closed at midnight. I transferred the film, edited the film, sweetened the film. It was shown at a meeting at 9:05, which is pretty quick in those days. In those days, I couldn't edit. I mean, there was a union that if I turned on a light, I can tell you, I was once at a studio, and somebody said, could you turn on the light? It was just a light switch. And I was working with Stiller and Mira. And all the guys walked off. I had to get them back because I wasn't supposed to turn on a light. They just signed a new union contract. So things have changed where you guys in a box this big, I mean, an edit room used to be this big, can do all that I ever did, So my journey started, I was in school. I wanted to be an account guy. I didn't think I was creative. I still don't. And then I got out of college, I got recruited at an agency in Detroit, and they were paying what people made with masters. And so I took the job, and they said, we'll pay for school at night. I was going to go to law school. And I could be an account person in 6 months. Well, I ended up in creative. I came back here. I worked in advertising. And one of the accounts I worked on was the CBS local account. Now, being, old, I mean, there were 3 networks and 1 independent station and 1 PBS station, no cable. And they liked me, they didn't like the agency, and I was doing some music for Pabst Beer at the time in New York, and they said, you should talk to this guy. And he made me an offer right away, and I held off for 3 months, and then it just got, and I took the job. And I literally didn't know. I mean, I got a job, and I was the manager of promotion for comedy and variety for CBS, when CBS was, for the first time in 20-some years, was number 2. And I didn't know what the job really entailed. I didn't go to LA. I met this guy in New York who offered me the job, and I'm driving out to LA, and we just started out in the morning, and it was like 9:30 at night, and we were in Nebraska or something, and I said, I don't want to drive anymore. Let's go to this motel. I turn on the TV, and there's a spot for Happy Days, which was a big show. Had been on like for 4 years, and I didn't know. And I saw this promo, and the promo was I can't remember any of the work I did, and I surely didn't keep it in forms I can show you guys. But the spot was Richie and the Fonz get locked in a girl's dorm. And the girls are running around, and Richie covers his eyes, and Fonzie goes, "Hey." And I thought, this is a great promo, because then it hit me. It was called situation comedy. And this was my theory doing this for years, was set up a situation that each one of you can think is funny. Don't try to put a joke that you don't laugh at, that you don't laugh at, that maybe you laugh at, because how many times do we laugh out loud at TV? And then if you don't like the joke, you won't watch the show. But if you set up a situation and those characters were known, then you say, this could be funny. You know, I mean, it could have been, because these are two different kinds of guys get locked in a girl's dorm, they're all going to react differently. And that's literally, I got to CBS on December 1st, and that's how I started doing what I did. And the reason I got into television, and you guys know this every day that you're doing what you do, is it's instantaneous now. In advertising, like I said, it took 6 months, but even at work, if something happened, I could write a spot at 4 o'clock, and it could be on the air an hour later. I mean, I could watch a show, cut a spot, run it down to where it was broadcast from, and it'd be on the air. And when I did the Olympics are coming up. In '96, I did the Olympic torch relay for NBC and the Olympic Committee and Coca-Cola. And we had a crew literally going with the torch. It was a countdown. And they would send me something back at 3:30, 4 o'clock, and I'd have to make a spot, and I'd run down, because the feed to New York to air the stuff on the network was from 4:30 to 5. And at 4:55, I'd run down, and it would be on the air at 5:01 LA time. So that's what I did. And then I got into programming. These are other areas. And I was vice president of programming and specials at NBC. So I bought shows, and then I ended up producing shows. I produced the Emmys one year. I produced a show when I was in promotion, which was 2 minutes long, called One to Grow On, which were these pro-social messages for kids. And when they had a big, children's schedule, it was interspersed with all the children's shows, and that got me a lot of awards. Sure.
Yes, you got a question. For a young person like myself who wants to get into ads, even before, it's crazy that you came here, because that's exactly what my goals and my ambitions are. I just opened a recording studio, and we do a lot of
music.
Music. I want to be like a music house, like voiceover.
Yeah.
Not just that, but we can come up with creative ideas for commercials. I was just wondering, how did you what would you say for me to try to get in there right now?
Well, here's the thing. When I was in advertising, how things change. Jingles were like the thing, and I worked on a lot of jingles, actually. And there were some jingle houses, and like the music for those campaigns, there was a place called HEA at the time, and they were a big jingle house out of New York. And I would, call Susan, who I knew, or Bernie, there were people there, and I'd say, I've got this idea. And sometimes you put it out for bids. You give them a line or some words, and you can see what they can do. But basically what they had built up were reels, and they had reels of their music, and we would call up and say, can you send us now it'd be a CD, but send me a CD, or a lot of it's on the internet. You can go check, and you can see people's voiceover reels. There's agents, and you can go and listen to them right now. I mean, it used to be they'd send them to you, so basically build up some music, do some demos, and then get it out there. Just get it out there. And even if you want, I'm not sure, because I've been out of advertising for so long, but they still need music. And they used to have people go visit with us in our offices and play what they did, and we got a sense of who they are and what they could do.